target is of course a client. So you don't really, unless you maybe tailor your product to only suit you. But mostly these productions are mainly for the clients. So that makes apps for web and mobile apps. Seen guys are still want to join. Okay. It's developed by Google and can also be used to build server and desktop applications. That that comes from Google. So that means that we are in the right track. We are in the right field, because whatever Google uses, it's not okay. We can say it's kind of perfect, but yeah, we all look up to maybe working from Google in Google or maybe other big companies. So we are adopting something that's globally available and globally known. It's an object-oriented class-based garbage collected language. When we talk of object orientation, we can simply talk of things like abstraction. If you guys know what abstraction is, but you don't really need to worry, you will get this along the way. Abstraction is now the data hiding, whereby the user does only display what's supposed to be displayed. Encapsulations is the second paradigm of object orientation. You also have the associations in object oriented programming, garbage collected language. Yeah. Okay. So in this course, we'll generally require you guys to have a machine that is going to serve us throughout this journey. At least have an 8 GB RAM machine or above. But if you have 4, I highly advise that you get an extra slot, an extra RAM. But I know there are some laptops which don't really have the expandable slots. Then we'll need the softwares. We'll install VS Code, Visual Studio Code. Traditionally, not really traditionally, we used to work with Android Studio. I've coded in Android Studio for quite some time, back in the years 2017. It's not really a traditional, but it only serves you for Android. But that comes with, you create an app for iOS and Android at the same time, one for all and all for one. You get. So we'll be using VS Code, Visual Studio Code. So I hope you guys have installed Visual Studio Code, or if you've not, you can do that. It's the instructions of installing it are in the learning management system where your notes are. Then we'll install Flutter. Flutter comes with that. There's where now you will now, when you install Flutter, it comes with the Dart. Those are the requirements that you need to start coding that. Then we also need you guys to have a GitHub account. If you don't really have a GitHub account, I highly recommend that you create one. Not even highly recommend, like you just have to have it, because that's where we'll be keeping our records. When maybe I want to view your work, you only give me access rights if it's a private repository. Okay, a repository is basically the name. It's what you're doing. It's now, let's say you are creating, let's say it's actually a project. So maybe you have a repository for this week. You allow me access. There are two types. You can have a public or a private repo. Private one, it's only you and people you've allowed to view your work. So you can add me or Laxon or the other instructor, Joe, so that you can be viewing your work. The public repo, like it's globally viewed. Like when I visit your GitHub account, I can see what you've been doing. This helps you. Okay, as a good coder, you should be pushing codes maybe once a day, twice a day, thrice a day, so that you could be checking your tracks. Another thing about GitHub is that when maybe you're applying for a job and you're going for an interview, I'm 100% sure that those guys will ask you the name of your GitHub. So that's where now your projects will be shown. So we must just have a GitHub account for all of you guys. Every one of you should create if you don't have one. Steven Jogo can't join the meeting. Let me allow them. Just a minute. Steven Jogo. Oh, I guess Skype is full. Actually, I think people cannot really join. We are already 50, 75. Yeah. Really how this. Right. Chat. Just a minute as I work on the guys who have not joined. Guys, Skype should accommodate more than your class. I don't know why some students are still finding it hard to join, but I'm working on it. Laxon, please just continue as I work on the other students.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so you can let me know if you guys can see my screen. Yes, I can see it from my end.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, so I'll pick it up from where Alan left. Yeah, so he was explaining what that programming is all about and why you're supposed to learn that. So the most important thing that you guys have to understand is that that is a client uh, development language that you can use to develop web applications, desktop applications, and mobile applications. So that's what that is all about. And before I start talking about that and how you can start writing code, you have to give me like time so that I can explain to those guys who are just starting or being introduced to what computer science is all about or what programming is all about. So I will start with what programming is. So programming is writing computer code to create a program. And the whole purpose of writing code or writing instructions for the computer is to solve a problem. You can agree with me that there are so many applications out there that are making our lives simpler and better. For example, Skype, the one that we're using. I'm in Zambia and you guys are in Kenya, but I'm able to communicate with you and share the knowledge that I have. So this is the whole purpose of programming. It's all about instructing a computer to do a specific task, and that task that you are instructing a computer to do, it's supposed to solve a problem. That's how it is with programming, and that's what programming is all about. So in the process of you trying to solve a problem, you come up with different type of ways on how you can solve it. Those ways or steps are called algorithms. So before you start writing your program, you have to write it down in form of what we call pseudocode. What is pseudocode? Pseudocode is, I can say it's a step-by-step kind of instructions in form of English instead of programming language, but it's in form of English that will guide you on how you can create a program or a software. Yeah, so the simple definition of what programming is, I can say it's this one. I'm sure you guys you can see my screen. So programming is writing computer code to create a program in order to solve a problem. Programs consist of series of instructions to tell a computer exactly what to do and how to do it. So that's how it is. I'll give you another example on how computers work. Is if you go on Facebook right now, you type facebook.com or you open your application, which is the Facebook application. The first things first, if it's your first time opening the Facebook application, it will ask you to create an account or sign in. And if you don't have an account with the platform, it will ask you to create an account. So you create, you click where it's saying create an account, then there's some form that will come up where you're supposed to fill in and everything like that. So all that you browsing around that application or that website, it's step by step. Those are steps that you take for you to use that software. So as a programmer, you are supposed to think of that as you're about to create a program. You're supposed to think about that. So those are some of the things that you write down. You writing them down, we write most of the times as a programmer, we write them down in what we call pseudocode. Like I said, pseudocode is nothing but just normal language, but it's in type of a step kind of a thing where you say, let's just say maybe step one, ask the user if they have an account. Then step two, if they have an account, ask them to log in. Then step three, maybe log them in. Then step four, if they didn't have an account, they can create an account. So that's how pseudocode works. So it's pretty much like a step-by-step kind of a thing that you follow as you are programming a computer, an application or a software. If you guys have any questions at this point before I proceed, you can ask. So if you are following, you can just say I'm following, so that at least we can have this, so that I can at least understand that you guys are following.
I'm following.
You guys are following. Okay, that's great.
You're following.
Okay, that's great. So now we have learned that programming is all about. I didn't get to. Hello. Okay, should I continue?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we have learned that programming, it's all about instructing a computer. So how do we instruct a computer? So to tell a computer to do something, a program must be written using a programming language to tell it exactly what to do and how to do it. If an algorithm has been designed, the computer program will follow this algorithm step by step, which will tell the computer exactly what it should do. So that's how it is with programming. So we program using programming languages. So before I talk about what a programming language is, I want to talk about what a program is. Programs are made up of statements that the programming language knows and understands. So we do understand what programming is. Programming is about you telling a computer what to do. And those instructions in programming, we call them statements. So there's this example that I can say that's pretty much close to us, which is just as words are put together to form a sentence, a program puts one or more statements together to form an instruction. So each statement tells the computer to perform a specific task, and the instructions tell a computer what to do. So that's how it is when it comes to programs. So programs or softwares or whatever you call them, they are nothing but a set of instructions. And those instructions were written using a programming language. So what is a programming language? A programming language is an artificial language that a computer understands. The language is made up of a series of statements that fit together to form instructions. So these instructions tell a computer what to do. So that's what programming languages are. In simple terms, I can say programming languages are more like a box of different types of pieces that you can use to maybe create something, like maybe Lego pieces. If I give you like a number of Lego pieces, it will be up to you to create whatever that you want to create. You can create something like a vehicle, a car, you can create a house, you can create all these amazing things. It's pretty much the same thing when it comes to programming languages. Programming languages are more like a box or something that you use to create a program or a software. And these languages, they have different types of pieces that you use to create whatever you are creating. So one thing that you also have to understand about these pieces is that, or about these programming languages, is that rules, like the way any human language will tell you you're not supposed to maybe use this word with this word. You get the point. So it's pretty much the same thing with programming languages. They have rules, and those rules, you have to follow them too pretty much achieve what you want to achieve. So the way they are supposed to be written, in programming language, we call it syntax. So it's more like a format, the way it's supposed to look as you are typing whatever that you're typing. Anyway, it will become clear once you guys continue with this course. Yeah, which is, yeah. So there are many different programming languages out there, some more complicated and complex than others. Among the most popular languages are, there's Python. I've seen that there's some people who are talking about Python. Actually, they were asking each other about Python. There's Java. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of Java. There's C++, there's JavaScript in the language that we're learning right now, the language that we're about to start learning, which is Dart. So there are different types of languages, and all these languages, they have, they were created for a specific task, I can say, in mind. If you look at Python, and if you look at Python and look what you can do with Python, you find that it's different the way you can use Dart. You get the point. So even that has its own things that you can use with it, or you can use it to create something. That's how it is with these programming languages. So most of the times, as you are learning, or as a computer science student, you're supposed to pretty much understand what you want to do, so that you even know, okay, you know what, I want to start creating things like this. So even you're supposed to even know the type of languages that you can use in whatever that you want to pursue as a computer scientist. If you want to become a mobile application developer, Dart and Flutter is there for you. If you want to do something to do with data science, machine learning, Python is there. So it's pretty much it's pretty much the same thing with other languages, just like that. So these languages have different types of advantages when it comes to creating programs. So there are some that are very good in creating certain programs. There are some that are very good in creating certain programs. So programming languages are designed to be easy for a human to understand and write in. However, a computer cannot run programs written in these languages directly. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of you have heard about how the computer can only understand zeros and ones. So a computer can only understand machine language. And when the computer was created, machine language was like the main language that was just there. And it was very, very difficult for people to use machine language just to communicate. You get the point? So just imagine writing zeros and ones, just trying to come up with something sensible. It was very difficult. And that's the reason why they came up with languages that they can use to convert or to be translated to machine language or machine code. So programming languages are designed for us as humans. When we write them, there is a software between that converts that programming language to a machine language. Those programs, it depends with the language that you're using. Some languages, they use compilers. Some languages, they use interpreters. Some languages, they use assemblers. So with the kind of language that, with that uses compilers. I'll give an example of a language that uses interpreters. I think you guys, if we were introduced to Python, I'm sure you can relate. Python uses interpreters. And there's some other languages that uses assemblers, which is like, for example, assembly, it uses assemblers. So all these softwares, they are different the way they convert from the language that you are writing to machine language. So these are some of the things that I'm sure you will learn in the other course, which is computer essentials. This one, I just want to introduce you guys to what programming is all about, so that at least as we are explaining, it's easy for you guys to follow along. Yeah, so for more details on things like this, I would recommend you stick to computer essentials. Yeah. So I think for now I can leave it to you guys. If you have any question, you can ask me right now so that I can just answer them as we are learning. Hello, anyone with a question?
Guys, don't fear asking questions.
Yeah, so we are here to learn, so you can just ask.
Yeah,
and there's no stupid question. That's one thing that I've noticed.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I know.
Yeah.
Learning. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, my name is Tanya.
Hello, Tanya.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can get you.
Okay, so my question is, when are we going to get to the practical parts of that?
Okay, I like that question because I know, like there's that thing that's beating in you, like, I just want to start coding right now. Yeah, so the reason why I'm just explaining this is because not everyone is coming from a computer background. So that's the reason I wanted to pretty much explain how programming is all about and how the computer works, and this actually is just a short introduction. This is just a short introduction. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. But I'm sure in the next meeting, we are going to start coding. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I can't wait.
Okay, you're welcome. So anyone else?
Hello.
Hello.
Asking when will the content be unlocked? Like that with Flutter, it's not yet unlocked. The introduction one that you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. So I have to I'll have to communicate with the dev team. With the dev team on that, then I will get back to you. But
Okay.
is everyone experiencing? Is everyone seeing the same thing? When you go to the DAT course?
Yeah.
Anyone who
not
has
only
access
the DAT
to the DAT
course.
course?
Not only the DAT course, but all of them. All of
I see.
You cannot
all
access
the
even
modules
the
are
Python.
locked. Python, everything, web. Web is open.
Oh.
Okay.
Web is open. Okay, but I'll surely pass that consent to the dev team so that they can work on it. Okay, yeah. So anyone else? Hello? Okay. Looks like we don't have more questions. Okay, yeah. So I was explain how the computer converts the language that we write to machine language, so that the computer can understand what you are giving it, or so that the computer can understand the instructions that you have put in place for it to execute or to run. Yeah, so I explained that there are different types of softwares that conveys all these things. There is a compiler, there's an interpreter, then there's assembler. So you can read more on this. I'm sure under Computer Essentials, all these things will be explained. Yeah. Anyway, apart from that, I have a question. Actually, I saw like a number of you guys. You were talking about Python. So are you supposed to have a class after this?